Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the DM007 Spy Explorers. Now this is a pretty unique and interesting quad in many ways. Number one, the size is very interesting. I don't think any other quad is quite this size. It's bigger than a micro but smaller than a mini, like the Cyma X5C or something a little bit smaller than that. But it has direct derived props like a micro quad has, where the props just push right onto the motor shaft. Normally, a little bit bigger quads like this have, a geared prop and a much bigger prop. So they spin slower, but they're more efficient. They create more lift. So this one, they spin these little props really fast to get enough lift for a quad this size. But it makes it pretty snappy and responsive. And it has a 2S lipo, so you get a little bit extra power to run those props quickly. It is a 380 milliamp hour battery. It comes with this wall charger here. However, I couldn't get mine to work right. The little LED here was always green. It never went red for me to show that it was charging. So I don't know how long it takes to charge with the stock charger and why mine didn't work. So I always had to use my hobby grade charger to charge mine, so I don't have charging times on it. As far as flight times go, if you have it in this form with the camera and the landing legs on, you get about 4 minutes and 45-second flights, so pretty short flights, in this full form. However, you can remove the legs and the camera, and then in that form you get about, what is it? I think like 7-minute flights or so. Maybe not quite that much. No, I think it's 6-minute flights because the prop guards aren't really removable. I mean, you can remove them, they screw on, but they actually function as like, tops of the motor mounts. It actually holds the motor down in the frame. So if you take the prop guards off, the motor is kind of free to pull out of there. I did do a test flight like that, and that's what I got a 7-minute flight with. But I don't think I would really recommend that because if you get too aggressive, one of those motors is likely to pull itself out, and then you'll crash. And so you kind of have to keep the prop guards on. I guess if you really wanted to get rid of them permanently, you could just clip the actual prop guard off and leave this cover on there. But I found that with the prop guards on, it still flies nice, and it's kind of nice to have them. And yeah, I think it was like 6-minute flights with the prop guards, but with all this stuff down here off. The camera is kind of interesting. It's one of the, it's like the Cyma X5C camera, but it looks so big on this little quad. It kind of makes it look like it's a flying eye. But it is going for this, 007 Spy, spy drone look. It has this kind of like Knight Rider LED across the front, another across the back. There's no LEDs out on the motor mounts or arms or anything. You just have these blue strips in the front and back. So kind of a neat look to it, but definitely not a night flyer. There are no like motor mount landing pods, so if you take the camera and landing legs off, you kind of just end up landing on like some bumps here for the camera mount. So not a great landing without the legs, but it's good for flying. You get longer flight times that way. This is the transmitter, kind of hobby grade style, pretty nice. I like it. Let's see, we've got buttons on the corners here, on the shoulder buttons. I believe the right button is for flips, and it does pretty decent flips. And then the left is for changing rates, and it only has 2 rates, and the yaw rate does not change, but it's a decent yaw rate. It's not super fast, but it's decent. You can recalibrate the accelerometer by holding both sticks down to the left. Let's see. Oh, and you operate the camera with the throttle trim buttons. So I think it's up to take a picture and down to start videoing. And it is a HD 2 megapixel camera, so pretty decent quality camera as far as these are right now. It does come with a spare set of props and a USB card reader, and it comes with a memory card that is 4 gigabytes, so a nice big memory card. Go ahead and put that back in there. The battery compartment here is pretty tight, so you kind of slide the slide forward and then it pivots out, but I mean the camera cable is kind of restricting it from opening too much, and there's just, I mean, let me kind of get the battery in there and show you. I mean, it is a tight squeeze. I mean, there's already just no room for the cable, so you kind of have to smash them all in there and kind of wedge it in place. So pretty tight in the battery compartment there. And then there is no on-off switch, I believe, right? Yeah, no on-off switch. So you gotta kind of get that all wedged in there and plugged in and let it sit on a level surface and get bound up and everything. And then you can kind of mess with trying to wedge it all in there and getting that door back closed. So a little bit of a pain there. It definitely could have benefited from having an on-off switch. So you could get that all in there first and then set it down and turn it on. Let's see if there's anything else to say about this one. There's no LVC warning, so you just kind of notice it starting to lose power, so no visual way to know that that's coming. And it looks like that's all I got to say about it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one outside for a flight. It's a little bit too big for indoors, and I want to kind of show off how it can fly, get some speed going, and then we'll do some sample onboard camera footage. The camera angle is pretty low, so it films quite a bit below where it's actually looking, so I'm not a big fan of the low camera angle. Alright, well that's it, so let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the DM007 Spy. Very cool looking little quad. So we'll give it a spin and do some onboard footage. And I'm in high rates. So this thing is interesting, a little direct drive props and a 2S LiPo. There's our funnels. The yaw isn't crazy on this, that's full yaw rate right there. So not super fast on the yaw, but fast enough. That's full pitch, so it's not super fast really, even though it's got the 2S battery. I think that's kind of more accounting for weight and making those little direct drive props really work. That's full throttle, full pitch, so not a speed demon, but it looks really cool. Let's do some flips. Really nice tight flips. Crazy fast. Alright, and now hit down throttle trim. It should be filming now. Whoa, wind got it there a little bit. Let's check that LED. I can't see it in the light, but it should be filming. And now of course the wind picks up. Man, it's hard looking into that white sky. It makes my eyes hurt. I think that should be good enough height there to get some cool footage. Camera angle is pretty low on this one, like the Cymax 5C. It's got quite a downward angle to it, so especially when you're flying forward, you're looking at the ground most of the time unless you're way up high. Alright, stop the camera. Get back to doing some flying. Fly's nice, just not a whole lot of pitch to it. It sure does look cool. Very unique size, and the LEDs on it, like some Knight Rider or a Cylon. Pretty cool. Whoa, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Okay, I must be getting a little low on my battery there. Full throttle, full throttle. Yeah, let's go ahead and take her in for a landing. I think I'm about out of battery. Alright, there we go. That's the DM007 Spy. Very cool, unique looking helicopter, quadcopter. A little bit on the slow side, but you know, it's kind of more of an aerial video quad. I think that's the whole spy aspect. Kind of looks like, you know, something James Bond would fly in to observe something before he moves in or whatnot. But anyway, check the video description for price and purchase link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.